Okay, today is 1M project day. I've got to do a bunch of things with the car. First is going to be doing an ONR bath. You know, the thing is super dirty. I think this is appropriate since it's, for us, it's cold here. It's like 50, 52 degrees, 55 degrees outside, something like that. So I'm not going to go wash it outside. I know many of you are in minus some ridiculous number, you know, all over the country. So this, I think, will be appropriate in that I'm going to do an ONR wash to the car. And by the way, I've already done this intro. I'm doing it again. I've already got the bucket set up and started my pre-soak ONR solution, and I realized I didn't have the microphone on, so I'm redoing this part. So I got a bunch of projects on the 1M to do. Yeah, I'm getting rid of the black grill, or putting black grills, getting rid of the painted grills. That was part of the plan from the beginning. I'm going to put a painted keyhole cover on, which this car makes me a little bit more nervous because there's no entry point in the trunk. So there's no keyed entry to the trunk like there is on the M3. So if the battery goes dead, I'm basically screwed. But I think we'll be okay. We'll see what happens. So I do have somehow got some water spots on this. So hopefully I don't end up with two cars with water spots all over it. I hope we're okay. We're about to wipe it off. But we have tons of pollen on the car. I don't really like doing ONR, or what we would call a rinseless wash, on cars that are super dirty. I just find it messier. I guess you could just put some gloves on and man up. But I always prefer to do a full wash if I have the choice. But I'm going to show you the process of doing this. It's not really rocket science, of throwing some towels in a bucket and having a bottle full of pre-soak. We'll kind of go through this process and show it to you. So I have, here's the ONR bottle. Right, it's always good to have this on hand. I have these in my car washing package. I think it's something that's a great thing to have in your arsenal in case you need it. So I've already mixed up a bucket of ONR. That is 1.5 ounces in 3 gallons of water. You know, the recommendation is to put 1 ounce in 2 gallons. I have 3 gallons because it's a 6-gallon bucket. It's my wheel bucket. I've never actually used this bucket, so we should be fine. And then I've set up created a pre-soak solution. So I put 2 ounces, and I'm going to put 30 ounces of water roughly. Get in camera here, get in frame. This is my new garden sprayer bottle that I'm really close to importing. I had a discussion with them. I should get pricing. I'm ordering several thousand bottles to start, and I'm going to ask you guys to test them out for me. And when I say test out, I mean buy them from me, so that I don't have to eat all of the cost. And then we'll get them out into the wild and test them out. This one is a little different than the black one. It has a different tube, but I'll be sharing more about these bottles as they come in and they're available. So I have 2 ounces of ONR. I'm going to fill this up. So this will be, 8 to 128, whatever that, do the math on that dilution for me. This I stole from my buddy Todd Nolan, who has been using ONR for years. And so I've stolen his dilution method for this process. So let me go fill this up and we'll get started on washing the car. Okay. So we're set up with our bottle here and kind of mix it. I put some filtered water in here, largely because this is too tall to fit in my bathroom sink in HQ. And I love how these lock down tightly. The thing I don't love is the atomization of this. I've already talked to them about modifying. So imagine this, my very first, or I guess it'd be my third conversation with them. I said, okay, I love the bottles, we're ready to go, but here's what I want to change, this, and this. I want to have a stripe, I want to have dilution, dilution marks. I want to take the press-all and put it on the bottom, not put it here so we can put labels. I want to have leak proof, because this will leak, the threads will leak slightly. They mentioned that was due to for vent, so the bottle doesn't suck in. And I also mentioned that I want a new tip to atomize better. So they said, okay, we'll take this all down. So this tip, I think, probably needs a finer orifice. in order to make it perfect. But man, so far so good. These, you know, other than me completely changing the bottle, they're going to be great. So this one's different from the black one and the red one, and then this is what they call their garden sprayer. So this one is, I think, going to be a little less costly, but you know, it's green, and I also want to change the color and, you know, basically do everything all over again. So we'll see how it goes. So, but you know, that's not going to happen anytime soon. So I want all the same things you do. This is the best bottle I found in the world. It's so ergonomic. It's very different from anything else that's available. It is, you know, the sprayer is very quasar-like. It's just much more stout and more ergonomic, if you ask me. So I'm going to take my towels. So these are 550 GSM satin-edged pluffles. I call it, what do I call this? My rinseless towel. Rinseless or waterless wash towel or detail spray towel is what I use these for. So I'm going to throw these in the bucket. And so the basic concept of rinseless washing is that I'm going to use a chemical or product, ONR in this case, and there's a few other products, but I mean, I think Optimum No Rinse is the standard. The idea here is that whenever I take the ONR treated water solution, it's going to form a barrier or encapsulate the dirt. And so generally people will do a pre-rinse or pre-soak. Of course, this is, I don't think this is part of the optimum strategy. This has been other people creating this or adding to this strategy. Oh, this one does atomize quite well. Yeah, it looks good. I just pre-soaked the hood. And I'm going to take my towel, and I don't want to wring it out completely. I just want to kind of loosely wring it so it still has some water. I'm going to take it, I'm going to fold it in eighths, and I'm going to go and wipe clean the surface. Doing small sections, I do it very similarly to how I would do, you know, a wash with a pad, you know, in a normal bucket. Some people, if you have really finicky paint, would do this and be done with it. I tend to do 3 or 4 swipes, flip the towel, do it again. So you can see there is dirt. And believe it or not, pollen is actually rather abrasive. So I think you want to be careful with that. Then I'll take my towel, flip it. Why does it look like it's dirty on both sides? Well, just to be safe. Do this. Shoot, I should put the car on the lift. Make it even easier to wash it. I mean, it's sitting on the lift, but I need to put the lift blocks in. Again, wring it out. Pre-soak. And wipe. So again, I always prefer to do a full wash. I just find this dirtier, but again, that's just me making up crap. Justifying why you need to buy $350 buckets, right? So I'm going to do the whole front clip here, and then I'll wipe it dry. This won't dry, you won't get water spots, but I like to do one section at a time and then dry the car, just so it doesn't dry on the surface. So it's debatable that this process is quicker, just depending on how you do it. I find this to be much more superficial. Now, I guess what you could do, you could go do all the jams and everything else, but I find when I'm doing a regular wash that, you know, all the water getting all over the place, you know, in the door jams and all the cracks and crevices, all the different areas of the car, and then I go back and clean that up by wiping it dry with a drying aid. I don't know, I just find it to be a much cleaner clean, if you will. But I guess you could, if you wanted to, you could use this process and really dig into the whole, every crack and crevice and area of the car. But I mean, you're not going to clean your wheel wells aren't going to get clean the same this way as they would with with soap and water and a pressure washer. Just my philosophy there. Okay, so there's that. About to now try something new. So here's something I've never done before. Now we have ONR Bead Maker. You can see there's not a lot of adjustment to this type of tip. I guess there is. It's just at the very, see, it's not the very end. So we're gonna do Bead Maker on top of ONR and see what happens. So I like these. This is why, a large reason why I keep the big white towels. I like the big white towels for rinseless washing. So we'll see how Bead Maker and ONR plays. I'm going to test this out right now. On top of PPF that's coated with C-quartz. So we got a lot going on here. So another advantage of this type of wash method for me right now is I've got to go in. I'm adding a financing option to the store for larger purchases. I guess now that I'm not a financial advisor anymore, I can recommend to people that you leverage yourself and buy cool stuff for your garage. Don't hold that against me. But I gotta go get on a call with that company. It's called Bead. I like it much better than a firm. Or I seem to like it much more. Yeah. I'm getting a real glimpse into all the details of the paint here. This is one disadvantage if you're going to do this under the lights in your garage, especially if you have my lights. You're going to have some heartbreaking moments where you realize how imperfect your paint is and how much work you got to do in the future to get it back to snuff. Yeah, pretty sure this PPF is going to be getting yanked off. Depending on if Tavarish gets back with his new car, on whether I've got the moderators coming from the Facebook group, whether we do this car or some other car. We got new headlights coming, so if these are damaged, it really doesn't matter. I'm doing Bay Optics, all new headlights from scratch. Okay, I gotta go get on this call, so I'll adjourn this part and we'll finish the car in a few. For you guys, it'll be like I never left. All right, I'm back. In camera time, it's been like a millisecond. In real world time, it's a good 26 hours later. So I still have my towels in the bucket, still have my pre-soak. So let's get back to work. I got a little sidetracked yesterday in doing my thing, creating stuff, building stuff, selling stuff. I think we sold about 30 grand worth of cool stuff yesterday. So I was dealing with all the craziness of that, calls, hard to explain. So anyway, we're here finally finishing up the job at hand in the garage. So I might actually get the grills done by the end of this weekend. So we'll see. We'll see. The plan was to do the downpipes and the whole deal, but we'll work through it one step at a time. So we got some shelves. We've got the Cox hose reels, some of them. We got more coming. We got 100 shelves. So we're back in business. So if you need a custom install, it's ready to go. Hopefully 50-foot hoses will be here early next week. Those have been really hard to get. You know, I kind of figured this would happen where we'd end up with a deficiency in the products needed for all the pressure washing packages. So, you know, as soon as they hit, people really started to buy it like crazy. And, you know, now I have to get the suppliers to catch up to demand. So that's the next thing we're, you know, waiting to get back and up and running. I guess we're up and running for the first time. So the buckets are live. Bucket configurator should be done soon. So now you can buy whatever combination you want, whatever colors and however many buckets you think you might want, and all that stuff. So we're all set up there. The configurator should be ready to roll here soon. So again, this process of waterless washing, and I'll show you in a little bit here as we work through this, I just don't find it, actually I shouldn't call it waterless, it's rinseless washing. I just don't find it as clean. You know, all the little cracks and crevices and all the jams and all of that stuff. I mean, I guess you could do an obsessed level version of this, but I think it would take twice as long to really clean this the same as if I were to clean it using a full wash method. And I know some people may debate that, but if you are a dual bucket washer and strong advocate of that, I wouldn't be fearful of this process. If you've never done this process, again, I don't prefer it, but you don't fear it. You can do this and do this regularly without fear of damaging anything. And that's largely attributed to the polymers or whatever magic voodoo science is in Optimum No Rinse. So I think I like the idea of, you know, we tried on the hood there of wiping it off with Bead Maker as a drying aid. I think I like the idea of doing this, removing the now clean surface or drying it this way. And then I'm going to follow with Bead Maker afterward. I don't know, I didn't really notice any negative effects doing it the way where I use it as a drying aid with the damp surface. But I think I'll prefer it to do a second wipe after at least, you know, wiping the start of the surface here. So if you haven't seen this, if I haven't spoken to this on something that you've watched, to me, as it stands, there's no question the M3 is the car for me longer term. I like this thing, and I love the M3. So I'm laying this on pretty thick because I've never put Bead Maker on this car. So I'm doing a more liberal application of the product. And as you can see, I'm kind of breaking it up into sections. Again, I've only done this a few dozen times, so I don't have, and I've never done it to this car, so I don't really have a dialed in process for this type of way of cleaning. You know, where I'm ONR cleaning and then applying my polymer sealant on top of the coating that we have. It's interesting to see how in vogue right now this whole drying topper spray sealant argument, how heated it seems to be getting and how saturated it's becoming in the marketplace, when this is something that no one gave two craps about not too long ago, it seems. All I know is it's really nice to wash inside, especially in my garage like this. So that realtor came back on the building back behind me here and said, you know, maybe the guy's interested in playing ball. So we'll see. I might be buying it's a 3,200 square foot building and separating out, in the short term until I can buy hundreds of acres and build OG as a destination. But maybe separate the warehouse from, and then do some training, and who knows, maybe build a detailing company. I don't know. Went and saw my shrink today, my therapist. So I'm doing much better. I actually found not a medication, but we did some genetic testing and found a deficiency in my ability to process folic acid. And so I've been taking methylfolate, which really seems to be working. It might be a placebo, but I feel like I'm less panicked, which is awesome. Man, I've got all kinds of cool stuff coming up here shortly. We've got a major detailing project. I don't really want to speak to it yet because of the people that I'm going to be doing it with. It's going to be sick. Just wait. You'll see. That'll be next week. Moderators coming to visit, some of them. I guess some of them weren't really too interested in coming and working for free on cars. So we're going to be doing, I think we're going to be doing Tavares's car. I can't really talk about his car either. We're going to be doing a new car that he just bought, but he's not going to get back in time. So I think what we might do is do this one. See, I hate this part. I know, I'm being a baby. Just put some gloves on and suck it up. The advantage for me in videos like this is that I can show you how much dirt is on the car. So yeah, I started this car a day ago. Planned to start it on Monday. It's Friday. So I'm gonna get it clean. And cleaning wasn't even part of the deal. It wasn't even part of what I was planning on doing. So we're clearly a little behind the schedule that I set. Oh, I forgot to pre-soak this. The part that matters the most, I didn't pre-soak. Idiot. Yeah, these bottles are pretty legit. Yeah, I'm digging these bottles, people. Again, this is the 1 liter. The 750, this is a little heavy. So the way to go is the 750 milliliter. I'm using the 1 liter for this, pre-soak and bead maker, because I use a lot more of it than I do other products. Yeah, so I got I also got the proper OE clips. If you watch me do the trunk on this car, I put the OE trunk back on. I just hot glued it in place, but there's actually there's some OE spring clip thingies, and so I got to put those on too. But this is fun. I'm just going to kind of work through this car, work through the project, do one step at a time, and get it all completely dialed in. And then after a while, we'll have this thing set up. And right at the time that I finish it, I'll probably be raffling it. Oh, I scheduled an appointment with an attorney that specializes in this kind of social, whatever you call it, social giveaways and marketing and things like that. So hopefully we'll figure out how to raffle this thing here shortly. So I guess I'll go and do the whole sides of the car, get this thing done. So I'm already getting sidetracked. There's a bunch of people showing up to hang out and check out what's going on here. But I gotta finish this car. At least finish the cleaning. So this is where you're gonna get a new towel. I'm gonna wring this out a little bit more. I won't worry about pre-soaking this. I'm gonna go and clean up all the jams, jam areas, get all the junk out of there. So your general waterless, or I guess rinseless procedure, I keep calling it waterless, but your general rinse procedure is gonna look something like this, where you pre-soak, you keep revisiting the buckets. I'm sorry, you don't revisit the buckets, you keep revisiting with new towels, fresh towels. And then you go and you wipe the surfaces down with as little pressure as possible, getting it clean to spec. So now I'll revisit the bucket now because I'm not dealing with the larger bulk of the painted surfaces while I go and do all the jams. You know, and then I'm following, of course, I'm following the bead maker to you know, put my topper or layer protection on top. And so we're getting a pretty decent clean here to the car. But again, what I find is all the water, getting all the water, I guess we could spray it down with pre-soak and do the same thing. But all the water and all the runoff of soap and all of that, this process to me just, when you do a regular wash, just looks cleaner. You know, we get everything cleaner. By the way, ONR is safe to use on interior panels and glass and everything. So you can trip out with this stuff. Clean whatever you want. So that's our basic procedure. I'm going to wipe the face of the wheels down and get that finished. And then, you know, the car's done. So I'll bead maker the sides, which you didn't see me do. You know, we got plenty of marring, scratches, some water spots, some oxidation, some contamination all over the paint. So I'm guessing maybe this weekend we may detail this car, you know, fully decon it, and then, you know, paint correct it, remove the coating, remove the clear film, and then I'm probably going to coat this in G-Tected crystal serum light. So anyway, thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned. Make sure to check out. We'll be doing the grills and the coils and the spark plugs, and then probably do a separate video when I start dealing with the exhaust, figuring out how to do the downpipe. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I guess I should say stay warm up there in the north, the Great White North. If you're watching this in the summer in the future, then stay warm next winter. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you soon. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.